Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gail Carson, that's Gayle, GailCarson13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everybody. It's Gail Carson, and I am just delighted with my guest today because she's a friend from just so many years ago and such an accomplished woman. Her name is Eileen McDargh. She's a CSP, which is a certified speaking professional, and she's a CPAE, which is the highest designation that you can be awarded in the speaking profession. And she's one of only few women that have that designation. She's also CEO, Chief Energy Officer of the Resiliency Group. She has helped organizations and individuals transform their life and their business and the business of their life through conversations that matter and connections that count. She's become known as a master facilitator, an award-winning author, and an internationally recognized keynoter and executive coach. In 2020, Global Gurus International, which is a British-based provider of resources for leadership, communication, and sales training, ranked her third as one of the world's top 30 communication professionals, following a global survey of, get this, 22,000 business professionals. Her newest book, Burnout to Breakthrough, Building Resilience to Refuel, Recharge, and Reclaim What Matters, has been generating great response and interest, and you can find it in Amazon in paper, digital, and audio formats. Eileen, welcome.
Gee, Gail, I think my mother wrote that for you.
Well, I didn't realize that you had written 7 books.
Yeah.
So what prompted you to write this one, Burnout to Breakthrough, Building Resiliency to Refuel, Recharge, and Reclaim What Matters?
Well, first off, I write all of my books because they're lessons that I need to learn. And starting with my very first one, which was in 1984, was called Work for a Living and Still Be Free to Live. And it was the first book at that time that we can figure out ever looked at this thing of burnout as well as finding the work of your life, putting it together. So I think this one is kind of like almost coming full circle. What prompted me to do this is I've been lecturing, studying, speaking on resilience for almost 20 years. And resilience as it relates to our organizations, our lives, our relationships, leadership. And over the last, I would say about the last 3 years, every time I was asked to speak about resilience, the context, Gail, was always burnout. And I got to tell you, when you get 5,000 pharmacists standing and applauding at the end of a keynote, the title of which was Using Resilience to Overcome Burnout. They weren't standing for me, Gail. They were standing because they finally saw some hope of something that they could do. And I thought, I got to do something with this. And lo and behold, 2 months later, the World Health Organization declared burnout to be a global occupational hazard, almost like a pandemic. And I said, okay, that's it. I have to put down the ideas about this. What is it? How can I blend together the skills of resiliency within the context of burnout? And I finished the book, turned in the manuscript in December 2019. And 2 months later, look where we are.
Wow, yeah, for sure. I know. I am in my 29th week of isolation because I'm immune compromised. So I have not gone anywhere except to hospitals and doctors.
Aww.
So what would your definition of resilience be?
Well, my definition of resilience is not what the dictionary says. The dictionary makes it sound like it's in fact, people would tell you in basic terms, it's to bounce back. It's when you're under stress and you're compressed, that when the stress goes away, you resume your normal position. That's great if you're a willow tree or a piece of steel. For the human system, Gail, it's not enough. To me, resilience is to grow through challenge or opportunity, so you end up better, wiser on the other side. So it's about growth, and ultimately it is about your energy management. How do you keep the mental, emotional, physical hardiness that allows you to grow through? And notice I said challenge or opportunity, because your energy can be consumed if you have a great opportunity. So it's not just like, oh my God, it's crisis, help, help, help. So it's all about energy management and growth. And therefore, I think, Gail, resilience is a life skill.
I agree with you. I agree with you because I think I'm one of the most resilient people you're going to find, having gone through everything I've gone through. But it's also what I was raised on. It was how to think and how to be and how to act. And given the current state of the world we are in right now, do you believe it really can be developed?
Well, not only can it be developed, I think it has to be developed. I mean, this is one of those things where you can go stand in the corner, put the sheet over your head in the bed and say, screw it, I'm out of here. So it must be developed. But here's what I think we first have to do is we first have to say, okay, of what of this can I control? And Gail, you are the perfect model of this. There's so much that goes on in your life right now. Then we superimpose the pandemic over top of it. But I know you as being a very resourceful woman, and a woman who says, okay, where is my point of control? So there are a couple places of point of control. The first, and probably the biggest one, is to start with what it is we're saying to ourselves. And to me, it's the language that we use. When this whole pandemic thing started and they kept talking about social distancing, I'm screaming, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. In fact, the first session that I gave for about 700 people in the meetings industry, they were talking about social distancing. I go, no, that's the wrong word. We want physical distancing, but what we need is social connection. And so the words that we say, and here to me, Gail, is the big one, to say I choose versus I have to.
I agree with you. I agree because people say, well, aren't you depressed staying at home for 29 weeks? And I say, well, I've got 2 cats to keep me company, so that's good. But also, no, because I'm not a depressed person. And, with all the things that I'm doing and all the Zoom meetings and all the shows and, all the webinars and everything else that I do while sitting here, I have never spent so much time at the computer, I will say that. However, I don't get depressed. And I go out every night between 7 and 8 before it gets dark, and there's a dog park across the street, and I watch those dogs, and there's a small dog park section and a large dog park section, and they know each other. They go there to socialize. That's what you said, social distancing. They play, and I watch them, and there's one Dalmatian there that's a hoot. I mean, he just greets everybody and runs around and chases everybody, and it's just wonderful, and I come back with a smile on my face, and that's all I need. But what do you think that leaders can do, especially with remote employees, which I think will be with us for a while? So how do they use resiliency?
Well, first off, I think you model what it is that you want for people around you. So if you're one of these people that has 9,000 meetings, one right after another, you throw out, huge amount of work to your team, you don't stop and connect with them as human beings, you're not going to model resilience, and you're not going to have a resilient workforce. So the first thing I think that we need to do as leaders is to step back and say, I'm going to give you another resiliency skill. You want to reframe it. And reframe it instead of saying, oh crap, this is horrible. Okay, now that we are remote, what is it that we can learn about how we do our work? What it is that we do? What is it that our customers, our clients need? And how do we connect in deeper ways with each other. See, I think, Gail, this really is an opportunity. Think about it. You can have 20 people on a Zoom call, and oh my God, we are invited into each other's homes. I look at your face. How many times do you have, quote, a meeting where you send an email? The meeting is, quote, an email to the person who's 2 cubicles down. You never see him, you never talk to him. So a really wise, brave, courageous leader begins with conversations that matter. And conversations that matter aren't just saying, how you doing, buddy? But hey, let me know what's going on with the work. Are we giving you too much? Do you have the tools that you need? What are some things that you were doing there with your family, your best beloved, that make you smile? You go around the room. Vivek Murthy, who was our Surgeon General of the U.S., had this wonderful practice where before he began any meetings, and this is way before remote stuff, would have them connect in more intimate ways. Like, what was the greatest vacation you had? Hey, did you do something stupid last week? What was the stupid thing you did last week? And everybody shares. It kind of breaks down the walls. So I think what it does is that to create a way that we can grow as we grow through our relationships, we begin to develop empathy and understanding. And the really great leader learns the skill of active listening, which is a skill.
It is a skill. I agree with you. It is a skill, active listening, because you can tell when you're talking to someone, the next thing out of their mouth, did they really hear what you were saying, or are they on to another subject? So you're absolutely correct in that. So what's the process?
I'm sorry?
What is the process for moving from burnout to breakthrough?
Okay. The process, thank you for asking that, is we need to go from what I think of as, oh no, to And what that is first off, you've got to, in order to break through, you have to go to break out. And break out means going, what is it that I'm doing to myself? So number one, you first have to recognize, am I in this place of burnout? Is this what's going on with me? Because there's a lot of denial. And denial is not a river in Egypt. It's saying, this isn't happening to me. No, not happening to me. And let me give you some, underscore what it could be. It can be exhaustion is one of them. Feeling disconnected from your work and from other people. Overindulging, food, alcohol, you name it. Not getting enough rest. Feeling anxious all the time, which can be a function of burnout, as well as everything else that's going on. So, and there's some great, and in my book, there's a good assessment, a very simple assessment. People could be saying to you, you know what, you don't smile anymore, Gail. Why don't you smile anymore? Gail, you seem to lost your sense of humor. And all we do is whine, complain. So there's all kinds of things that create the symptoms, if you will, of burnout. So the first thing is to identify, I think I might be anything from a match to I'm a crispy critter. So imagine it to be a continuum.
Yeah, so that's true. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It is. So, and by the way, once you figure this out, it's going to happen again. I mean, I can't tell you how many different burnouts I've had. And each time I learn, first off, this is where I am. Number two, how do I break out saying what's going on so that I can break through? And the breakout is to realize, number one, what it is that I'm saying to myself, because our thought scale, you know that. That's one of the things that has allowed you to be so strong for so many years, is you really work on what is it I'm saying to myself. You could have sat in your house and say, woe is me, this is terrible, horrible. But what do? You go outside, you look at those dogs playing, and you live in that world of play. So the first thing is, what are our personal thoughts? What are some other things what I think of as triggers or prompts to burnout? Another one can be what I think of as technology tyrants. And by technology tyrants, this is all the ways that technology controls us instead of us controlling technology. So, for example, when I say technology tyrants, you sit at your computer and all of a sudden, zing, there goes a text message. Oh, got to answer that. Oh, there comes an email. Oh, somebody did. And so we get off, we bounce back and forth. We think we're so cool. We think we're multitasking. No, you're not. You're screwing up, because all the research says we're not designed to multitask. And when you try to get back onto what wanted to do, you spend a lot of energy and time, and it can take as much as 40 minutes for you to get back on task. So here's another one, is disconnected connections. I'm not connecting with people. I feel alone in what I'm doing. In fact, loneliness is really a horrible epidemic that now they're saying it's as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So to have meaningful conversations with people, and if they can't be face to face, personally face to face, they can be done through that technology. But to be connected, and connected with your cats, with your dogs, but when we feel disconnected from everyone else, that can be a trigger for burnout. Another one is caretaker crisis. So caretaker crisis is where you're taking care of somebody else in addition to you. For many of us, it's an aging parent, or it could be a child. It could be a sibling that doesn't have the wherewithal, or someone. So we're juggling, if you will, and there's no such thing as juggling either. That can be something that's pushing a lot to us. So is that what's going on? And then, of course, there are organizational prompts too. And by organizational prompts, one of them is resources and communication, infrequent feedback. I'm sitting here in my house doing all this stuff. I have no clue if I'm doing the right stuff. Nobody talks to me. Maybe I have inadequate training, out of date technology. So I'm trying to make do with stuff that's old. Another organizational one is not feeling listened to, that you have no control. So instead of performance objectives being done collaboratively, they're just dumped on you. And this is what you're expected to do. Workload. Are we giving, are they unrealistic work expectations? And are we not we need to push back. So you know what? We're doing this because this is the way we've always done it. But I don't think this is a really smart thing to do. And of course, work relationships, aggressive management styles. And of course, overload meetings and emails. All of these are prompt scale that if we look at them, first identify burnout and then say, what's prompting this? Because the breakthrough is where you say, now, where do I choose to get back in control?
Well, that's true, because so many people say the reason they leave jobs is because of their boss or the way methodologies are used. But since this is a women in business show, Eileen, what advice do you have for women who seem to take on a tremendous amount of responsibility both at work and home? And who would you say is your role model?
Oh, that's a great. Those are two good questions. Let me answer the first one. I think for women, many of us are like bobblehead dolls. We keep saying, yes, 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 I'll do this. And one of the reasons we keep saying, yes, 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 first off, is that, well, I'll feel guilty if I don't do this. Well, by the time I teach her how to do the laundry, I might as well have done it myself. So yes, 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 I'll take this on. So we take on more than we need to. So my first question is, why am I taking this on? Is it true I am the only person who could do this? Is it true that it has to be done this way? I mean, why am I baking 27 dozen cupcakes when in fact all I could do is, go to the store and buy a bag of cookies and leave that at my neighbor's door? What is it? What is it that we are saying yes to? Because I think we buy into this image, the superwoman image, and frankly in business too, as we attempt to claim our place within the world of work, we often feel that if this is the only way I'll get noticed, so I'll just take all this stuff on. And the truth of the matter is, you don't get noticed anymore for that, and you burn out in the process. So I think it's saying, where do I say yes? How do I control the controllable? Where do I learn to say no, or no, not now, or I'll do it later, or it'll be done in a different way? So it's really stepping back, Gail, and saying, what is it that I am doing? Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was my cat. My cat was just tuning in there. He always seems to get into one of the shows, that's for sure.
Oh, that's
but who is your role model? Let's ask you that, Eileen.
That's a really good question, because in some cases, my role model are the people who aren't doing it. And I look at them and go, whoa, I don't want to fall into that. Um, I think one of my role models actually was a woman that I worked with years ago that at 5 o'clock she would leave. This is when I worked for a PR firm. She, back in then you put a cover over your typewriter and you walked out. She always left at 5 o'clock. She got everything done up until 5, and at 5 she went home. She never got in trouble. I'm still sitting there at 7 o'clock at night banging out press releases. I'm going, what's wrong with this picture? Her name was Susan Murdy. I would envy her because she was so clear on boundary setting. And I think about that often because my why is contribution. That's why I'm here. People who have a why of contribution, we say yes to more than we need to. And Susan, when I think about this, Susan Murdy was my model of, okay, you know what? The only person who ever had their work done by Friday was Robinson Crusoe. I don't need to finish this. And Gail, you and I will laugh at this, but we might be the only people on this radio show that knows who Robinson Crusoe is.
Well, that could be. I hope not, but could be. Well, I'll tell you, Eileen, we have about 5 minutes left. So I want to ask you, I don't know if you have a special gift that you'd like to offer people, tell people where they can find you, how to get your book, the best place to contact you if they want more information on this, whatever you'd like to tell them.
Thank you. Okay, well, the best place, if you can spell my name, you can find me, because to my knowledge, I am the only Eileen McDargh in the universe. My grandmother passed away, so it's solamente uno. It's only me. You can go to the website. If you go to the website and you sign up, it's free. My resiliency report. It's a newsletter, and with it, you will be able to download another book called, for free, Talk Ain't Cheap, It's Priceless, Connecting in a Disconnected World. And I think it's a really powerful, small book that we actually can use right now. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Twitter. Just put the name in Eileen McDargh and you will find me there. Also on my website, I write a weekly blog post. We archive all of the posts, so you are free to scroll through that and download anything or print out that has meaning to you. And obviously, since January, they have been related to resiliency and burnout. So there's a lot of free resources that are there. You can find my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And like you said in the introduction, it's both in the paperback, it's in digital format, as well as audio.
Well, and for those of you who may not know how to spell her name, it's Eileen, Eileen, and McDargh is MC, no A in there, McDargh, Eileen McDargh. Well, Eileen, it has been something else. I want to remind our listeners that we'd love to have them subscribe on Apple Podcasts and YouTube for any new content. If you are interested in joining my Over 50 Facebook group, which is free, it's the virtual SOB Club. You can do that. We are an active group of over 360 some members. And if you want to talk to me, I'm at www.spunkyoldbroad.com. There's a contact form there for you to fill out. I will answer you immediately if you send it to me. So that gives you all my information. And I have known Eileen forever and ever and ever. As a matter of fact, Eileen, you may not remember this, but the first time I saw you, I thought you were a fitness expert because you were teaching fitness at the National Speakers Association at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so, and I was one of your attendees. So that shows you how far back we go.
We do.
So we have 1 minute left. Anything else that you would like to tell our listeners that we haven't talked about?
I think I would just like to leave them with a quote with two quotes actually that keep coming back to me. And the first one is from Howard Zinn. Howard Zinn said, "To have hope, one does not need certainty, only possibility." And I think we need to remember that. I don't have to know exactly. I just to have hope. Howard Zinn. And the other one, because as we show up in the world, it's actually Howard Thurman, which is don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. The world needs people who have come alive.
That is so true. And it's happening in a lot of the futurists and what they're working on now, things that you and I would never even have thought about just a year ago. And it's going to happen in the next probably 24 to 36 months, if not sooner. So thank you so much, Eileen. It has been an absolute delight. I'm glad we connected again. And folks, if you want somebody who's really an inspiration for you, go to Eileen McDargh. She really is.
Thanks, Gail. Bless you on what you've got coming up.
Hi, this is Dr. Gail, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gailcarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.